Take these two over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up before dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
So, what does Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope really mean? In part 1 of this video series we learned the following. Luke Skywalker, the main hero, stands for our core self making the decisions. The decider. This is called the ego by Freud. And this is not the same term as the ego of someone with a bloated one. To avoid confusion, we could also simply call it our reason. In any case, it is right in the middle of the tension field between our morals and our emotions. This is the so-called Freudian Trio of superego, ego and id. In the same way, Luke is stuck on his uncle and aunt's farm. Uncle Owen stands for our moral sense of duty on the one hand, and Aunt Beru for our emotional need for security on the other. The two droids stand for our obedience and defiance respectively. Things start to change when our confidence is uncovered in the character of Obiwan Kenobi, who assumes the role of moral guide or superego. This is to have faith in ourselves rather than to be held back by petty fears and self-doubt. And with Auntie and Uncle conveniently gotten rid of now, while Luke was out having tea with Obi-Wan, we find our heroes in lack of a character connected to the id. In other words, we need to switch to an emotional reason other than our need for security to motivate ourselves. So Luke and Obi-Wan tellingly go to a gloomy bar to pick up a new one. This symbolism isn't to be mistaken here. They find themselves at the lowliest of places, populated by animalesque beings representative of our instincts, impulses and emotions. For one, check out this devil-like character. Can that be a coincidence now, shoulder devil? I didn't think so either. Out of this mess that is the cantina, emerges an aspect of the psyche that is both immersed in the impulsive quagmire of emotional instincts and at the same time captain of these rough waters. A figure that is both in touch with the wild side and master of it. Han Solo. Being accompanied by the dog-like Chewbacca, his buddy and basically his pet, means being in control of our instinctive, emotional side. And Han Solo also just happens to captain a ship with a hyperdrive. In other words, we are getting into contact with what motivates or drives us. Han Solo represents the emotional reason for following our dreams, the lust for adventure with all the thrills that entails. Our passion. But passion comes at a price. It can also consume us. The problematic connection we have with our passions is reflected in the tense relationship Han Solo has with Jabba the Hutt. This monstrous gangster and couch potato is the embodiment of our childish, greedy tendencies. It is when self-indulgence goes too far. The polar opposite of Han Solo is Obiwan Kenobi. It is superego versus id. Obi-Wan himself eventually perishes, but the void he leaves behind is quickly filled by Princess Leia Organa. So what aspect of our psyche could Leia represent exactly? Let's take a look. Leia's general demeanor is self-assured to the point of being judgmental, dominant and critical.
I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
I don't know who you are or where you came from, but from now on, you do as I tell you, okay?
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
It is clear she embodies our sense of pride. Pride can set pretty high standards, which explains why there is friction from the start with Han Solo and Chewbacca, who represent our less noble sides. Princess Leia being held captive by the Galactic Empire is also highly symbolic. Our pride has been imprisoned. It is the tendency many of us may have to self-criticize and not allow ourselves to be proud and self-confident. The evil empire thus represents what is keeping us down. It is what we build up inside ourselves with guilt and self-critique, originally instilled by people around us that may be our parents or other authority figures, and that we eventually start to perpetuate ourselves. Freud himself already warned against a superego that becomes too dominant. What better way to illustrate this internalized guilt-tripping with the gargantuan and menacing eyeball that is the Death Star, an inner critical staring eye that continually beats us up and keeps us down. It is our guilty conscience blown out of all proportions, and its power is based on the fear of what may happen if we don't comply.
Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station.
It is the same thing that kept Luke trapped on his farm on Tatooine. Uncle Owen has been demeaning what matters to Luke the most.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
And keeping him trapped with guilt.
Hardest is when I need you the most.
This went up to the point that Luke started repeating it himself.
I can't get involved. I've got work to do.
Obiwan Kenobi, on the other hand, guides by inspiration and example. He respects Luke's decisions even if it goes against his own interests.
You must do what you feel is right, of course.
In the same way, confidence is what we allow ourselves to have and not something that can be forced. To oppose such a strong force for the good, there must be an equally strong force for evil. Meet Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the quintessential bad guy. This character conforms to the concept of the shadow put forward by Carl Jung. The shadow represents those parts of our psyche that social pressure made us disavow and bury deep inside. That is also why he stands in direct opposition to Obi-Wan Kenobi, who symbolizes our confidence. Having to admit to one's dark side can be a huge blow to our self-respect. Something we'd want to avoid at all costs. And Darth Vader does get the best of Obi-Wan in the end. But actually, Darth Vader is doing a lot of the things that Luke wished he could be doing himself. To be a powerful man roaming the galaxy and opposing figures of authority.
Take these two over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up before dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
The claustrophobic breathing of Vader gives an eerie reminder of the bottled-up, seething rage against those around us that try to keep us in our place. Darth Vader is the bad person we fear, but also secretly desire to become. He is the anathema designed to keep us in line. It is even stated as the very reason why Uncle Owen is keeping Luke trapped. He doesn't want him to become like his father.
Luke's just not a farmer, Owen. He has too much of his father in him.
That's what I'm afraid.
And as is revealed in episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader actually is Luke's father. So in other words, the message is, stay in line or you will become like this bad guy. So how to beat such imposing opponents? And what is the meaning of the Force? Well, depending on how well this video does, I will explain all that in a bonus episode. So please share this video on social media and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will look at this in the future. Until then, bye bye.